Good morning, pregame crew. It is Monday, February 27th, 2023, 8:21 a.m. Eastern, 6:21 a.m. Mountain Time. I'm Charkal Lori, and you are at the pregame show. This is a show where my goal is to get you ready for the trading day. We will officially get started in 9 minutes. I hop on here early just to do a few chart requests. More importantly, say hello to my friends and do an audio visual check. Good morning to all of the Carloses. Good morning. Hey, Andre, Lori, Night Truck, Greg, Mighty Pawns, Keith, Topher. Hi, Duke. Options, Houdini. Okay, I'll take it. Hey, Ed. Yeah, hit that like button. Hey, Homebody, Sam, Card Lady. Card Lady, interesting. Do you play poker, Card Lady? Hey, Caesar, Jojo, Arthur. Thank you, Night Truck. There's my little girl, Madison. Hello. Hey, Patrick, Corey, Mal, good morning. Hey, Crypto Cat. Well, I don't know if you got to see it. Let me go back to my Twitter right here. So, well, I don't want to play that. Share, copy link. So I'm going to post in our chat a copy of my interview with Jared Tendler. I enjoyed speaking to him so much. So we published it this weekend. I hope that there's some nugget in there that may help you with your trading. Overall, he's like, just learn how to suck less, which is crazy and of course catchy, but it makes sense when you read his book and the inchworm concept. Again, I just finished his book last night. Again, love, love, love. I listened to it on audio on my long drive. Oh, good, Jess. I'm glad you liked it. Hey, Mary. Jaroslav, Marshall. Yep, Roger. Bask. Top of the morning to you. Jose and Ponzi. Let me go back up to the top and do some chart request. Lori, you said get this party started, and in my head, I'm like, get it started. I'm singing that in my head right now. I wish I could play music. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Didn't hear them hit the mute button in time. MARA. I don't like the crypto names this morning. Coin is actually one of my shorts this morning, so not liking it. Bitcoin potential daily bear flag. So keep that in mind with my analysis that I give you. Just know in the back of your head that we have that daily bear flag pending on Bitcoin. Let me go to a higher time frame. So we closed last week with an inside bar. We don't have a weekly uptrend. Daily, that looks like a bear, 4 hour, that looks like a bear flag. We are not close to Friday's high yet. We have so many names that are over Friday's high as SPY is gapping up. MARA is not gapping up. So this is how you divide your list. And we're going to talk about gaps today. Okay, which names are gapping up with SPY and which ones aren't? So then MARA goes over here. And that is a more bearish name. So if market were to start pulling back, you would look at these names in this category for potential top fish setups because they're unable to clear Friday's high. Hey, Chris, you nat gas junkie, you. Oh, good, Night Truck. I'm glad you liked it. Hey, Trey. You're doing the Annie Duke book now. Awesome. Sure, ER. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything else. So on MARA, did I even finish that? No, I didn't finish that thought. So let's see. What is the high of Friday's range? 717. We've bounced about 55% of Friday's move. We bounced about 55%. So we, in theory, have enough room for a higher low. I wouldn't say that it's a guarantee. Looks like 650 has been pretty staunch support in the past. Here, here, here. So that's something I would watch. If you're in an MARA long swing, I would say, okay, Friday's low becomes my stop because this continued weakness as we struggle with the hourly EMAs overhead, I would say, okay, that's my line in the sand. That's for me. Good morning. VXUS. I've looked at this one before for you, I believe, ER. Weekly has plenty of room for a higher low as we approach the weekly 50 MA. You're going to want to find support in that area if you're a long. Daily is at the 50. Nope, daily lost the 50 MA. Sorry, gap down. Was that dividend day? Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Are you long? If you're long, I think 4-hour oversold could represent a new scale-in opportunity if you wanted to go long. If you're looking for a short, I wouldn't short down here in the hole. Hourly EMAs are overhead. 4-hour potential bear flag. It just doesn't look great on this 4-hour time frame or hourly, but the weekly is still okay. You're going to want to see that weekly 50 MA hold if you are a long. If you're short, you're going to want to see that fail. Hey Lou, Healing Song, Sal. Gotcha, ER. Hex ETH. Okay, I don't see Hex. I don't see a Hex ETH. I see wrapped Ether. I don't see the regular Ethereum. Maybe you could give me a better ticker name because I don't see it. I don't have it at least. I know you're talking about a crypto coin, but again, I don't see it. Sorry, I can't help you there. Good morning, Awesome. Awesome. Did you join TCG? I think I saw your name on the join dashboard. Welcome. Hey, Shashank Pandy. Good morning. We'll get started in 2 minutes with indices, commodities, crypto, and movers and shakers of the day. Market is bouncing. Market's pretty healthy this morning. We're up 0.58%, gapping up above Friday's high. And we're really going to go into, okay, perfect. We're really going to go into gaps today. Okay, Hex USDC. I'm assuming Uniswap is okay. We're running into the weekly 50 MA from below. Daily has lost its uptrend. Go back to that weekly. We're holding up on the daily 21 EMA. 4-hour trend change. This sure is giving megaphone vibes here. You see these tiny higher highs without follow through, tiny lower lows without follow through. You have plenty of room for an hourly high or low. If you want to attempt a bottom fish there, looking for this daily 21 EMA to hold, that is a nice lower wick on that daily candle of bulls buying the dip there. Looking stronger than most crypto, I'll give it that. Good morning. Oh, good. Awesome. That's what I thought. Welcome. Welcome to the family. Good morning, Jorge. Okay, Jorge's here. We can get started. I was waiting for Jorge. All right. Good morning. Welcome to the pregame show. This is who I am. I'm Chart Gal Lori. I'm part of the Chart Guys community, and we teach technical analysis. If you want to give me a follow on Twitter at Chart Gal Lori, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you get any nuggets from this broadcast, please hit that like button. If you're on TradingView, hit that rocket button. Yep, Gumby, that California snowstorm was a doozy. I was in the middle of it this weekend to a degree. I was in northern Nevada. All right, let's get started with the dollar. Let's change things up a little bit. So what I do here, I went over that. I do indices, commodities, crypto, movers and shakers of the day. I have a table which I'll show you on how it helps shape my thesis for the day. And then I have my notes. They're off screen. I copy and paste those for TCG members only when I am done. If you're interested in my chart setup, you can click on the link below in the video description, YouTubers, to get an explanation as to what is all this on Lori's chart. All right. The dollar is forming a potential hourly bear flag. That is bullish for the market. We're going to want to see the dollar have more incoming weakness. So I'm just going to start out with the major highlights of what I see. The yellow line is the 50 MA, simple moving average. The dollar is at the weekly 50 MA. A weekly lower high was the more likely scenario with the size of this pullback here, but bulls showed relative strength Friday, and that was bad for the market, good for dollar bulls. Well, now this could be a pivotal area for the dollar to potentially pause, and market bulls are going to want to see dollar pull back in order for the market to get a good bounce. That's the general correlation. It's not one for one, and it's not always perfect. It's just a general correlation that I use. So let's start collecting data. Dollar is at the weekly 50 MA here overhead. Let's highlight that. And then I want to put here, one second, where's the QQQ? Is that the daily 50 or at the daily 200? Okay. Here's all the key pieces of information that I'm bringing forward into today's action. Sorry, I should have had that highlighted before I got started. I need to delete that. Okay, now I'm all organized. So overall, I have 81 points in favor of bulls, 71 points in favor of bears. So it's kind of a push this morning. And let me show you, now let me go back to those key pieces of data I wanted to show you. Do y'all remember when I typed this on Friday? I said the daily 200 MA is going to be key. And if you're a TCG member, I only posted for about 30 minutes Friday before I had to hit the road, and I posted ES touched the daily 200 MA and held 394750 was the low that we held. And the 200 MA at the time was at 394875. We hit it within $1 and we bounced. That's going to be key moving forward. The market told us a lot when bulls defended that area. Now we go look at NASDAQ. Look where NASDAQ 200 MA is. 11,94350. We came within $20 of that on $11,000, almost $12,000 instrument. That's notable. So we're at the NASDAQ daily 200 MA. So dollar, the weekly 50 MA is overhead. ES, the daily 200 MA is below. And NASDAQ daily 200 MA below. And if you are a Swing Report subscriber, you heard my video this weekend, or I hope you did, where I went over, I was looking for a bounce at market open last night. And futures open, I was looking for a bounce because where the dollar was in a precarious position with the weekly 50 MA overhead and where ES and NASDAQ were in strong support. That's three pieces of big data that helped form my thesis to be looking bullish last night. Let's go over this table a little more. Here is probably point of counter trend. So for here, the dollar, weekly 50 MA, ES daily 50 MA, and QQQ daily 200 MA. Those are 3 points that line up in favor of the bulls. A big point that lines up in the potential in the category of bears is Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a potential daily bear flag. By the way, market is bouncing over 4,000 psychological right now. So is Bitcoin giving us an early clue here? We'll see. Now let's do some technical analysis. Okay. What did I want to show you? Sorry, I'm looking at my notes on the other screen. When I'm quiet, I'm either reading chat or I'm reading my notes. And sorry that I'm not able to multitask a ton when I'm trying to read too many things at once. Okay, we're in an hourly uptrend. We are clearing the 50 MA. That was an important piece of data for me this morning. Now that we're clearing it, bulls can breathe a little bit of sigh of relief. But on the 4-hour, a lower high is anticipated. On the 4-hour, a lower high is anticipated. relative to 403.425. So bears are looking for a top fish today. Man, these bulls are going for it. 15-minute is overbought. And we may have to wait for hourly overbought in order to get that top fish. Let me go set my alert. That looks like a pretty strong conviction or high conviction trade idea. It's looking for that hourly overbought with ES in a daily downtrend. All right. NASDAQ. Did we have data? Let's look at the data. So today we had the core durable goods order. We had 0.7%. Previous was negative. Maybe that's being perceived bullishly. As you can see, we don't have a lot of 3-star data this week. This is actually pretty minor data. We don't have the FOMC. We don't have crazy big earnings. So this is probably the most tame week we've had in a while as far as data and binary economic events. Okay, NASDAQ is clearing that hourly 50 MA. Again, that was going to be important data going forward. On the 4-hour, now NASDAQ has cleared 0.5%. That means on the next pullback, we're expecting a higher low. On ES, on the next pullback, we're expecting a higher low. But what comes first before the potential higher low? A lower high. And it's not guaranteed, but that's what comes first. So this morning, yes, we're bullish. I'm looking for a top fish. I can't chase up here. So I'm looking for either a top fish setup for that 4-hour lower high possibility, or I'm looking for a pullback to buy. Now, here's where we're going to talk about gaps. All right, if a gap fills early on, let's look at SPY. It'll make it easier to see. So 39725, do you see it? 39725 was the high of Friday. That was the high right there. That 398 happened in after hours. If bears are unable to fill this gap, listen to my words. And I said that Friday, listen to my words carefully. And someone sent me the playback and I'm like, listen to my words carefully, nat gas. And I'm looking at the Apple chart. I'm like, y'all don't listen to my words carefully because obviously I'm getting my charts mixed up. So on a gap, if bears are able to fill this gap early on, that gives you a lot of information that bears are taking over the chart, especially if they dip back into Friday's range, then the bears are really getting velocity. If on a pullback, bears are unable to fill that gap and we bounce, that tells you a lot of information as well. That is super bullish. I don't go over this enough. I should be going over this. Anytime we have a gap, I should be reminding you of what the gap rules are. When gaps are filled early on and you dip back into the range, that's bearish. If a gap fills, it pulls back and it fills that 39725, that could be an area to look for a long. And then if that is lost, you stop out. And then we're looking more bearish. Does that make sense? So within the first 30 minutes, how bulls and bears treat the gap tells you a ton of information, and that is true on any chart you look at. If we look at Tesla, because I don't go over this a lot, my words are not coming to me as easily. Okay. So Tesla, we have a gap down here at 19767. If bears are unable to fill that gap early on, that tells you a ton of information about bull control. If they are able to pull the gap, fill the gap, then get like a 2 or 5 minute trend change back to the upside, that's a perfect long entry. Not perfect, there's no perfection in trading. But that is a great risk to reward long entries, looking for those gap fill longs. Now, if it enters back into Friday's territory, into that range, then that is bearish. All right, so if bulls, let me go back to SPY and land the plane. And say it one more time. Clear all this. Clear. If bears are unable to fill this gap within the first 30 minutes, I just give it a vertical line and say, okay, within these first 30 minutes, if bears are unable to fill the gap, I'm looking bullish. All right, so we got all of that out of the way. ES, did I give you levels? Your next resistance, 402.325. Bears aggressive bears will be looking to top fish that, and you're going to want some price confirmation. We always want to be shorting on the right side of the V or going long on the right side of the V. I wouldn't front run this short. So 402.325 is where aggressive bears are looking for a trend change in price back to the downside for a potential top fish setup. Dixie, oh wow, it did break hard. Slow devil, you are absolutely right. Hourly bear flag that we just discussed just confirmed on dollar. We're approaching the 50 MA at 104.90. Let's see if that can hold. 15-minute not oversold, man. That was a big break. That's good for market bulls. NASDAQ, same thing applies for NASDAQ that I've said about the other gaps. And 4-hour top fish setup against 12261, 12261, support 11923. We have bounced enough for a higher low on any pullback. Oh, thanks, Shawshank. Okay, RTY. RTY has really got a good bounce going. They were standing out this morning in pre-market. We have retraced about 70% of that move from the high of Thursday to the low of Friday. We've retraced about 70% of that. That means on a pullback, we have plenty of room for a higher low. I think that's going to bust one of my Queen of the Mountain trades. Dan was pointing out the 4-hour potential falling wedge on IWM, and I like that long, but we're probably going to need to wait for a pullback long on RTY. YM, we have retraced approximately 65%. So we're at the golden pocket of the high of Thursday to the low of Friday. We've retraced about 65%. That means on a pullback, you guessed it, we have enough room for a higher low. So the market bulls are trying to carve out space for them to get some trend changes going. All right, VIX, we've lost the hourly support. So earlier when I was doing my table, we had an EQ here and I marked it a push right there. So now I'm going to say it's in favor of the market bulls because we broke bear. So now we're getting a little more bullish. US 10-year, okay, that broke hard as well with the dollar. 4-hour downtrend confirmed. Now I can change this. More data is going into that bull bucket. Hang Seng was down overnight, but look at DAX. Y'all look at that. We're up 1.59%. That's significant. Man, Friday had a big sell-off. That is significant. We're up 1.59%, and we're only up 0.8% on our indices. Is that a canary with this international strength over in Germany? Possibly. Bitcoin. Wow, that's a nice pop. Okay, Bitcoin is negating the bear flag. So now that changes my view on whomever asked me about MARA and even coin, which was one of my Queen of the Mountain trades. That changes my perspective slightly. Now that we're bouncing almost 50%, we've made enough room for a higher low and we've taken the bear flag potential off the table. Ethereum, same thing. Nice bounce. We're over the 4-hour 50 MA. Hourly EQ, breaking bull. Your next resistance is at. We're over this level, that level. Your next level is 1671.41. I will be going over gold Bullseye in just a second. I agree that Apple is kind of weak. That's what I have in my notes. So Ethereum, this I don't think I said support, 1631.54, 1622.51. So Bitcoin and Ethereum is trying to play catch up with the market at this point. Okay, now I'm going to do gold. So what number did I write on Friday? I know y'all remember. 1809 is what I was watching because that is where the weekly 50 MA was. Well, now it's at 1806. So it updates every day as another data point comes into the equation. The first data point gets dropped. So now we're at 1806.40. And what we're looking for with this hypothesis, thesis, whatever, is we're looking for a weekly higher low. 4-hour got oversold on Friday. Typically, that's a great location for a potential weekly higher low. Daily even grazed oversold. That made me super interested in gold. I still don't have a position, but this is looking much better. We've changed the hourly trend back to the upside. This is a potential long. So a pullback buy compared to 1817, that really clearly defines your risk. 1817, looking for a pullback buy on gold, attempting to nail, attempting being keyword, that weekly higher low while daily got oversold and 4-hour got oversold. Nice risk to reward. So I'll most likely be taking this trade today. Oil. I put in my notes in commodities that we had this hourly uptrend and we're holding the 50 MA, but man, this is not what you want to see. How much buying power are we wasting? Look here, higher high, pull back, lower low, pull back, higher high. I mean, and then look at this retrace the whole move. Look at all this. Oh, can you draw, Lori? Look at all this buying power that keeps getting wasted. And this is a perfect example of 3 steps forward, 3 steps back, 3 steps forward, 3 steps back. And you're going nowhere in a hurry. Like you're going nowhere in a big hurry. And that's just wasting money. That is showing bull exhaustion. And bears are looking for a potential top fish up here. You're looking for a daily lower high. I like a top fish of oil on 76 against 76.82. I like a top fish. Your support 75.58. Nat Gas. Congrats, Nat Gas pulls. Hey, Chris Ike, today's your day. 4-hour bull flag confirmed. Most importantly, what happened overnight? Well, I had it marked. I shouldn't have cleared it. We broke the weekly stair step to the upside on Nat Gas. That is big. Let me show you on the last chart that stands out to me where that happened. Joey Jungle Funk, he took this trade, posted it in swing. Look at this weekly stair step. When we cleared 118.80, we went 83%. Do I think Nat Gas is going to go 83%? Not necessarily, no. We're in downtrends on a lot of larger time frames. However, this is bullish for Nat Gas bulls. We could still have a weekly bear flag, so you have to stay protective. But I like a pullback buy now. Let's see. I'm going to do an alert for first 5-minute oversold. I'm going to do an alert for first 15-minute oversold, looking for back burners. And then ideally, if you wanted to swing, you could look for first hourly oversold, attempting to nail that weekly higher low, or daily higher low, I should say. So let's set that alert. All right, Apple. Oh wait, I didn't give you support. Nat Gas support is at 2574 and 2554. Yes, Jorge, yes. Paul, how long after open do you wait to see action? Well, it's about my attention span as well. Like if I'm helping somebody in the room, I have so many direct messages from the weekend that I have to respond to. So it'll depend on where my focus is on gold. But I would say within the first 30 minutes, I'd probably, maybe at 7:45 my time is when I like to put on trades. So that would be 9:45 Eastern. I'd really look to put on a gold long if I'm going to take it today. I would look in that time frame, but the chart has to set up. It's not about necessarily what time it is on the clock. It's more about how is it setting up. Okay, Apple. Let me go to my notes on the other screen. Apple testing Friday's high. It's over Friday's high now. Attempting to gain some strength, however. A 4-hour lower high is expected compared to 150.34. Bulls needed this, but we're at the hourly 50 MA at 148.08. Okay, so how do I judge strength? Man, that was a pretty, even though I couldn't get it straight. When I was talking to y'all Friday, I was calling Apple Nat Gas. We had a gap fill of 146.61, and that's what I told you. I was looking for a potential long, but we really couldn't get our act together over it. And so I posted in chat, I'm not taking an Apple long. Well, now I think an Apple long makes sense back to Friday's high, 147.19 here. So a pullback buy to 147.19, fill that gap and don't drop below. I would say don't drop below 147. And I tell y'all, I like to dance with Apple. If it doesn't drop much below 147.19, I would say 147 is my line in the sand. I think that's a good area to go long. I messed with my line. That could be a good area to go long. And if we have a gap and go, and it doesn't fill that gap, that tells you even more information about that strength. And then you may have to, if you want a long, you may have to wait for a pullback to the 5-minute 8 EMA or VWAP if you use that. Amazon. Do y'all see this? The gap rules that we're going over today? 94.14 was the long of Friday. A pullback buy, and I would say even give it to $94. Below $94, the bears are getting more traction than they should. Marshall, I'm glad you like it. If I'm being honest, which I always am honest, I was nervous talking to him. I am fangirling over him like a crazy lady. He is just so good. Oh, and I'm glad you brought up the interview because I had something to show y'all. I was listening to, was it chapter 9 last night on discipline? Yes, on discipline, distractions. So the section in chapter 9 that went over distractions, and I was listening to it last night and it really hit home. I allow a ton of distractions when I'm trading, which is part of my job, is to monitor the room and monitor Twitter. But one distraction that I shouldn't fall victim to and you shouldn't fall victim to, and I think we all do. And by the way, if you're like, man, that analogy really made sense or that nugget really helped. Why? Because I've gone through it all. I'm going through it all. We're all struggling to get better at this game or this profession. So I've struggled with all of these things at one point or another in my trading career. So if it hits home, it's because I went through it. I'm not up here claiming to be perfect at all. But man, when he said that profit was like staring at your P&L is like staring at a shiny thing and getting totally distracted. And it made me think of this commercial. This is your P&L right here. Everyone is on social media trying to do this dance. Hashtag common sense. Can't keep up. It's going to get tens and tens of views. There's mayhem. And that's you. Let me go back and do that again. That's your P&L over here dancing. That's your P&L. Look at me, look at me. And that's you not looking at the chart and running into, trouble. So this is your P&L trying to cause mayhem. Stay focused on the chart. Man, I hope that helps somebody and y'all are not laughing at me. You're probably laughing. NVIDIA is strong. NVIDIA, I think, is an important key to this market. If we could break the 6-hour bull flag to the upside and exceed 238.88, don't come a knocking, bears, if semis are rocking, and NVIDIA is strong. Okay, Tesla. Exactly. P&L mayhem. We're going to start calling it that. Tesla could be a daily head and shoulders here. We were looking at it on the 4-hour. Well, now it's potentially developing into the daily, but forget patterns. I'm going to go with price, and Tesla is strong. Man, it's so strong. 197.67. That is the high of Friday. I don't see us getting a dip buy opportunity back to that. If so, it could be a great opportunity, but if you give up, what percentage is this? 2.5% and dip down to Friday's high, that shows weakness. I wouldn't even do a dip buy there if it were to pull back. Does that make sense? So when you've gapped up so far above Friday's high and you come fill that gap, that's weak. That's super weak. That just reminds me when I talk about gaps. Unrelated story. When I went to college, I went to LSU. My mom and dad, they were trying to keep me cool because all I had was like basketball shorts and like total country clothes. And my friend was like, you need to go to the Gap. And I told my mom, we got to go to the Gap. That's what they say I need to be wearing is the Gap. And we went in there and bought me a shirt and shorts. And I thought I was the coolest. So my roommate from Dallas, she was real hoity-toity. And she would always make fun of me calling it the Gap. All right, there's your story time. 4 minutes until Charting Me and Dan goes live. We're testing the hourly 50 MA. We are not above Friday's high. I'm trying to gather my pointer here. Friday's high is 61.59. If the market would start pulling back, I like coin for a top fish. IWM long for that potential 4-hour falling wedge. That ship done sailed. Okay, IWM, you may be able to get a 5-minute back burner trade on that. Lulu? Okay, Lulu is not over Friday's high of 213.33. I like Lulu's short, and here's why. Y'all see that frown? Look at that daily 50 MA. Do you see that frown? The daily 50 MA is pushing lower. We're rejecting at the daily 200 MA. If the market were to start pulling back, I like Lulu short. PANW, I like long. I like PANW long. We closed Friday with an inside bar, potential daily bull flag. Yes, we have a gap below, and y'all know that I'm always thinking about those gaps as potential magnets below, but this is one strong chart. It didn't give us the trade I wanted Friday, but it's gotten really tight, and we're breaking bull now. So I like PANW long. All right. Oh, good. I'm glad that struck home with somebody or struck a chord. All right, that's it for me. It's 6:58. I'm going to close it down. TCGers, I'll see you in the room. I'll have the notes and a copy of the table over to you shortly. Y'all use stop losses.